Hello, dear friends. My name is Dr. Oleg Tarsunov. I live in Russia. I studied here in a medical institute. I am a holder of a doctoral degree in medicine. My thesis is dedicated to healthy lifestyle, and in general, what I do is I give classes on healthy lifestyle. And also, on the parallel track, I graduated as a reflexotherapist. To some extent, I was studying Ayurveda and traditional Chinese medicine. I have various methods on different types of health improvement. I do that to help people who come in contact with me in this life. For example, we are holding a festival Blagast where people come to learn healthy lifestyle. This festival takes place at the Black Sea, and around 1,000 of people come there. And people always have some problems with viral infections because people are constantly communicating with each other. They sit at classes together. And as a result, I developed an idea to create a method that would easily liberate people from these problems, both those who are sick with viral infections and those who have not fallen ill yet. And because I have been practicing reflexotherapy for a long time already, I was able to develop a unique method allowing people both not to get sick and, if one is already sick, to really quickly get rid of symptoms of illness. The method is based on the idea that every virus, just like human being, cannot stand some types of products. For example, a human being can be allergic to something, and every one of us has something we simply don't like. And just like that, there are substances that viruses don't like in general. And I was able to find these substances in the course of research and experiment. They are the needles of all the conifers and also roots of the conifers, as well as substances like turmeric root, ginger root, white whole pepper, long pepper, pipli, yellow mustard, I think I've listed all of the items I use to fight viral infections. And a particular mix of these ingredients in a specific proportion is especially powerful for different cases. For example, there is now an infection of seasonal flu going around Russia, and we treat it with the mix of 3 parts of white pepper and 2 parts of turmeric. And the following thing happens. A person starts wearing bands. I will tell how to make them. One on the wrist, one on the ankle, just starts wearing 2 bands. And approximately in 40 minutes, a person gets a feeling that they feel better, as if they are recovering. Then approximately in 2 hours, temperature starts to decrease, and in 6 hours it almost comes down to normal temperature. In 2 hours, other symptoms of improvements of state take place. Relief from headache, decrease in labored breathing, less coughing and runny nose, and so on. Basically, one starts feeling better, and in around 6 hours of wearing the bands, one feels that they are actually recovering. The next day they feel almost completely healthy, and in 2 days they are in perfect condition. They keep wearing bands simply because the virus is still remaining in the body for around 5 days. One can also wear bands for 2 weeks after the illness just to make a guarantee for yourself. But most important is that already in 1 day one feels almost healthy, and that works with COVID-19 as well, because in this case the method is aimed at suppressing the activities of the virus, and when the virus loses its power, the body starts to gain power, and it develops natural immunity to the virus. To some extent, it works as an ordinary vaccine. Virus activities are reduced, and the body finds a way to defeat a virus. And now specifically about the virus that is burning down the entire humanity on Earth right now, destroying us. We have to give a fitting rebuff to it. I offer you my method. We have already 6 reviews from patients with confirmed cases of COVID-19. You can find it in the same folder I'm offering to you. There is information about me, my patients, review about seasonal ARVI we have been treating at our festivals. as well as the 6 reviews of confirmed cases of COVID-19. But also we have a lot of patients who are sick with COVID-19, but the diagnosis was not tested and confirmed. So the essence of the method is in mixing 3 tablespoons of ginger root powder and 2 tablespoons of turmeric root powder. So you take these 3 parts of ginger root powder and 2 parts of turmeric root powder, you blend them together and you have a mix. Take 1 tablespoon of this mix. We call it tablespoon here in Russia. I think in different countries the names can be different, but the essence is that we don't need to take big spoons here, and also we should not use tiny coffee spoons. So you take 1 tablespoon without any heap. Just remove all the extra powder on top of the spoon so that the powder is only inside the spoon without heap. You divide this amount of powder by 5 parts and you take 1/5 of it. And this small amount, 1/5 of a tablespoon, is enough to treat coronavirus infection effectively. You take this 1/5 part of a tablespoon, put it in a plastic bag, specifically in a plastic bag. The mix should be dry. It does not contact with the skin of the patient directly. It remains inside a plastic bag. So it is the vibration that the spices emanate that is curing. It seems like some fiction, but if you do it, if you take the trouble of trying it, if you're sick, in 2 hours you will see yourself getting better. So you install the small bag with the mix, where they wear a wristwatch. Carefully look here on your wrist. You put 1 bag of this mix here, and the second bag should be put on your ankle, where your leg turns into foot, on this crease, right at this place, over here, a little higher than this crease, in the front of your leg. You put it like this. This is about the second band. You put these bands on the left side of your body. Remember this and not confuse. It is your left wrist and left ankle. You are wearing 2 bags simultaneously, each bag at each place. If after putting those bags on your body, in an hour or 2 you start feeling some uncomfortable sensations in your body, like body heat, some discomfort and fatigue, more than you had before wearing bands, then what you have to do is remove those bags and reduce the amount of the mix to 1/2 of it. The thing is that even such a small amount of mix can overcharge you because it has a really strong influence on the body. This is why take the trouble of getting the right amount for yourself. When you do not experience any kind of discomfort wearing the band, it means the amount is right for you. What should happen? In 2 hours, you should suddenly start feeling better. If you have coronavirus, this is the mix that works. If you do not have COVID-19, this mix will not work, but at least it means you do not have coronavirus, and that is good. If you wear it for 6 hours and it doesn't help you, it means you definitely have not the coronavirus. Because all of my research, and I had treated around 20 people with coronavirus so far. It is not much yet, but I have my own problems here. They do not let me treat in hospitals because doctors do not appreciate this method. It's weird for them, but it is highly effective, and in different countries, you will see that in reviews. People are using it in Switzerland, in Italy, in the US. People who try to use this method find it really quickly helping them. So you put on these bands. You can use ordinary roller bandage or elastic roller to tighten the band to the body and just wear it. You don't have to do anything else. And if you want, you can drink the same mix. The same mix of ginger root powder and turmeric root powder in the same proportion and amount. You can use it with hot water and a little bit of lemon juice and honey and just drink it. But you have to understand, if you will only be drinking it, it will not work as strongly as in the form of vibrations from the bands. So this method actually affects the entire body and it suppresses the activities of the virus. Ingestion does not give such an effect, unfortunately, but still it is also useful because when you ingest the mix, it affects mucus coat directly, at least the mucous membrane of the digestive system, because the virus can be affecting it as well. So if you are already infected with COVID-19, you wear the bands for 12 hours and then you change the band for a fresh mix. You empty the plastic bag or you throw it away and you put their mix you've already prepared again. In the same amount, you put it on your left wrist and left ankle. If you reduce the amount by half, then this is the amount you put in the bands again. Put the amount that is suitable for you. How do we understand that it suits us? In an hour after wearing the band, one starts having some clearness, freshness in their head. The first thing that happens is one feels lightness in their head, then you feel your mood is getting better, breathing process gets a little easier, and in an hour your temperature may start going down a little and you feel much better. You feel more energetic and you can work. But maybe you do not even connect this to wearing the bands. You may think that the effect is coming from something else. But when you are at this state, do not remove the bands because they are actually working and they are treating you from this deadly disease. In around 5-6 hours, you will know that they are working for sure, because if you had temperature, it goes down significantly. It may not reduce completely in 6 hours, but it can do so in 36 hours, without using antibiotics and so on. So basically, you can have your own treatment at the same time, antibiotics and other types of medicines. One doesn't interfere with the other, but if you're ingesting ginger and turmeric, there might be some problems. However, if you're just wearing it on your body, one definitely does not interfere with the other. So you can also use your own methods or something your doctor prescribed you, and at the same time, put those bags with mix on your body. One definitely does not interfere with the other. Use all the means you can to defeat this illness. So you wear those bands for 12 hours and you change them to fresh ones if you are sick. And if you're healthy, I will give you a different mix with a different time of applying it. So if you are sick, you're wearing them on your left wrist and ankle both during the day and night. But you should change the bands every 12 hours for the mix to be strong and fresh. If you have been wearing the bands for 4, 5, 6 days and you feel great, I recommend you shifting to a preventative type of treatment. It means different amount of mix. Basically, that's it. So how do we understand if we have fully recovered? All the symptoms are gone. You feel great. Alright, then you should stop wearing the amount of mix you were wearing and you do the following. You take a tablespoon of mix without a heap, divide it into 5 parts, and 1/5 of the tablespoon is then divided into another 5 parts. The amount you receive is really small, and this small dosage is called preventative dosage. And just like before, you put this mix, but in a really small amount, in the plastic bag. And you make 2 plastic bags for yourself. One bag is put in a band on the wrist and another one on your ankle, and you wear it for 24 hours. It is not necessary to change the mix to a fresh one every 12 hours. You wear it for 24 hours as a preventative means, and just in case you keep wearing it for 10 days more. And if you're not infected with virus at all, just wear these bags as preventative means. Many of my friends are already practicing it, and even if they came in contact with someone who was sick, they were not infected. The virus does get inside the body, but it does not have enough time to reproduce itself because the bags with the mix suppress its activities. In other words, it becomes weak. It cannot function normally because the energy of the bags emanate doesn't let the virus function normally. How does that work? I cannot explain this to you right now in the video. I have a colossal experience of using this method for 20 years for treating ordinary acute respiratory viral infections and acute respiratory diseases. And in 2002, I also had patients with SARS coronavirus that back then was not as strong as it is now. And in that case, the mix was 1 part of ginger and 1 part of turmeric. The same ingredients, but in a slightly different proportion. It was given the same strong result. Bear in mind that every viral infection is treated with particular suitable mixes. In some cases, fir tree needles or pine tree needles work. By the way, pine tree root is also suitable for treating COVID-19. Now you will see the camera going up. I'm standing against a pine tree and you will see how the needles of the pine look.
Вот она, сосна. Но этот вирус лечит не иголки сосны, а корни.
So here's the pine, here how it looks. But this virus is treated not by the needles of the pine, but by the roots of it, a very small amount of the root powder. You have to understand, in order to treat this virus, pine root is enough. For example, if you're not able to find turmeric or ginger powder, if everyone buys it and nothing's left, for instance, this video can get really popular and cause that, just like in Russia, all the ginger is sold out because I made the same video for my country. But anyway, what matters is that pine trees grow everywhere, at least in more or less cold areas. In India, pine trees grow in the Himalayas, for example. So pines will also be effective. By the way, cedar will fight the disease just like pine trees. And it is not necessary to look for exactly the same type of pine trees I showed you. A tiny piece of pine root is enough, just the size I'm showing, literally 1 millimeter in diameter. You have to put this pine root in a plastic bag and put these small pieces on your left wrist and left ankle. And you can also wear them as preventative means. You can add those pine root pieces in your mix of turmeric and ginger root for treating the coronavirus infection. If you want to know whether it suits you or not, most important is not to put too much of it in a bag, because if for some reason you will start thinking that you need a bigger dosage to get a better treatment, you will see the opposite result. If you put too much of pine root, your body temperature will start to go up and you will start having spasms as if you got infected by COVID-19 again, even if you were not infected with coronavirus. So overdose of pine root, even if it is placed on wrist and ankle, it gives such a result. This is why use a small piece. Please, do not be greedy. Otherwise, you will have an unnecessary body temperature increase. So you have installed a small piece of pine tree and you keep wearing it. This amount is enough not to get sick. You can also wear it 24 hours for preventative means or change it every 12 hours if you're treating yourself from the virus. Please do not chop down pines and stock tons of pine root for yourself. Take a small piece of pine. It will be enough for your entire family for the whole course of treatment. And do not harm Mother Nature. It has given us wonderful means for treating these diseases. In some cases, people may have idiosyncrasy for something. For example, you put ginger and turmeric milk and you mix and your skin starts turning red. Body temperature might go up from these substances. In this case, switch to the pine root. So you have to choose either this mix of ginger and turmeric or pine root, or you can put pine root in the mix of ginger and turmeric. It will be even stronger. I wish you all the success in treating this disease. All the people who have used this method, absolutely every one of them felt relief. I do not know a single person for who this method was not effective. I had only one case with idiosyncrasy to turmeric and ginger. Everybody else felt much better. It turns out that such heavy infections can be treated with really simple method. I wish all the people on this planet to watch this video and try what I told you about and witness the results with their own eyes.